fresh off of the Maryland local wrestling legends, fully fermented that we did. The one and only Socrates is taking the spot of Matt tonight. Of course, you didn't see him right here at the beginning. We're starting slightly early. We always do. We always say that it's the opposite of a wrestling show. They start late, we start early. Anybody who follows the show knows that that's the way it works. Of course, shout out to Jason Rushman, one of our favorite fans of the show. He's already in the live feed. And bro, we'll start it off right away. Of course, Niki J. Borger, actress, she'll be joining us momentarily, probably either 7:30, 8 o'clock, somewhere like that. But we're going to hop right into one of the categories that I wanted to talk about. And that's, of course, I'm a huge baseball fan. You're a huge baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Major League Baseball opened yesterday,
and your team won and my team lost. We don't have
and that's the way it's going to be when we go to the game together. And the Orioles are going to sweep the Tigers, and that's the way it's going to be. Of course, anybody who follows baseball, you can see behind me, you can see a base from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. You see my pillow, which has the Oriole on it. So that's the whole thing. The Orioles looked hot. They looked real hot. Adley Rushman was the first catcher in 123 years to go 5 for 5 and reach base 6 times. That's fucking phenomenal.
They almost gave it away at the end there, but
yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like, they struggled a little bit, but it was cold. It was Boston. This team still get. But dude, the next 5 to 7 years in Baltimore, we have the best farm system in all of Major League Baseball. That's the whole thing, right there. And
they will at the very least contend for the playoffs this year.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, they almost made it to the playoffs last year. So that's the whole
young guys are going to have a year more experience, and they're going to never get, I mean, the Tigers yesterday got shut out. We don't have to go too deep into that.
I mean, we can dive deep into that if that's what you want to talk about.
This is Miguel Cabrera's final season.
Yes, that is true. I'm sure. And that's always cool too, is seeing what teams
when we go to the
do.
Game.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That'll be his last time in Baltimore.
Will it? Okay. That's So so that'll be cool. Oh yeah. So we're going to that final game. Yeah. So it's always cool to see what people give to the players when they leave out.
Yep.
So it's the thing of, I know when David Ortiz retired, I was at that game and they gave him the phone that he broke in the bullpen.
Nice.
So that was fun. And Jason's commenting in the stream. He said, I don't see Matt. Matt's off tonight. So Socrates, our artificial AI, is taking over tonight, because you guys don't ever see Socrates when he's No, you are not.
These fucking people need to see. Come on, we can't deprive the people of this.
Can't deprive the people of the man who is acknowledged by Al Snow, who, God damn it, I thought was going to be in the Hall of Fame this year. But that's not going to fucking happen. Like, what the hell? So,
I was hoping he'd shout me out in his speech.
Yeah, he just sits there and he's like, before I go, thanks for the Hall of Fame induction, but thanks to the high priest for, not coming after me for, he finally admits to stealing your finish. That's what it is.
The best part would have been if I went and they just cut to me in the audience wearing the Al Snow Fears High Priest shirt.
Yeah.
That was cut to people in the audience.
Yeah. So,
this year's Hall of Fame class, I don't know. We can talk about that.
Yeah. Of course, it's a WrestleMania weekend. It is WrestleMania weekend. Of course, tonight is the WWE Hall of Fame, which features the Great Muta, Stacy Keibler, referee Tim White,
it's underwhelming,
Rey Mysterio. I mean, a lot of people think it's underwhelming, but I mean, obviously the headliner is Rey Mysterio, and people are like, "Oh, they'll put anybody in." I'm like, well, the people saying that, they've done more for the business than what you have. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't do a tag team.
That's the thing.
That's what kind of threw me off.
You've got the big name, which is Rey. Yeah. You got the female, which is Stacy. You got the passed away / celebrity, which is Andy Kaufman.
Yeah.
You got the minority, which is Muta. And then you got the Warrior for Tim White. Yeah, where's the tag team?
Yeah.
Where the fuck's my demolition induction? Well, of course, they're never going to get done because they got heat. But,
Well, I don't know. I think eventually down the line, Vince puts stuff behind, like, don't they have a Legends contract? I could have sworn that they've released demolition figures.
That's weird. Yeah, they have released demolition figures, I guess.
Because if they have a Legends deal, I don't see why they want to put them in the Hall of Fame to be able to use them in games and like all that shit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
which
sure.
Mattel is actually making Hasbro style figures again,
No.
and they just released an Undertaker figure,
Uh,
and he's wearing the purple gloves, but he
No.
has the fucking Phantom mask on.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh, that's
I gotta
badass.
get
Like,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I don't get a lot of figures, but I want to get that. That's
Mm.
completely insane. But no, I mean the Hall of Fame's good. I think Mania is going to have a lot of surprises. Like everybody's like, oh,
Yeah.
Mania. I think this Mania is going to be a show stealing Mania.
It's
Like
good
they have
card.
that
It's a good
tag
lineup.
team showcase on each one.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those matches are going to completely steal the
Yeah, I
show.
hope they do. I don't know if they will, because they'll probably do the girls match. They really should put Owens and Zayn against the Usos as the main event of night one. Like if anybody deserves it,
I mean,
that bloodline, it's the bloodline is the best angle in the last 20 years.
You look at it like this, though. I mean, they have 2 Royal Rumbles. Royal Rumble guarantees you a main event shot at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So obviously, one will main event night one. I mean, really, it didn't work that way last year, though, because it was Austin and Owens.
But it had to be. It had to be.
It had to be that because it was in Dallas and it was Austin.
Do you think there's any chance they swerve us and Roman retains?
I don't know, man. Like I think the time has come.
Yeah.
I think if you don't put it on Cody, it kills Cody.
It's going to be a Lex Luger situation if
completely. Yeah, you know that's the whole thing.
The story is perfect. If anybody's going to take it, it should be Cody. But
I'm interested to see how they split the belts because I know Fox is saying we want our own title.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. So I'm actually excited to see Austin Theory go over on Cena because that's the most important thing to do. Like if Cena wins the United States title, it's not going to really make sense. No. Like, he doesn't need it, but I feel like Austin Theory, like that makes him a certified star. Him beating Johnson, and they're opening Mania.
That's right.
Like that's the thing. Right. They're going to open Mania.
That's right.
So, and speaking of WrestleMania and all that, of course, Jason Goodluck and Jason Rushman, I'm sorry, in our chat, he said, "Do you think Johnny Goodluck will win the belt this year?" LOL. And of course, he's referring to the second annual HH Pod Rumble.
If the High Priest doesn't get screwed over again,
which will be. Well, actually, none of the hosts are going to take part this year because I feel like it was kind of an uneven advantage. But we've already announced 10 people for that. Mm-hmm. So if I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, Erica Icon from the Rub PR, she's going to be joining us. Of course, Johnny Goodluck's going to be back. Mm-hmm. Trinity St. Clair, Anastasia Rose, Reagan Fox, Scott and JC from A Light Divided. They're going to be joining us.
Who we just had on the show again recently.
Yeah, who we just had on the show again recently. Let me try. I think there's 2 or 3 more that we already officially announced that I'm drawing a blank on. Derek Sharp, who does all of our weekly guest graphics. Our good buddy Jerry Hula from SharePoint Podcast. He's going to be joining us. So I think what I'm going to do is I want to do a video. I haven't had time because I've been super busy to put it together. But you remember way back in the day, they used to do the Royal Rumble report. Yeah. I want to do one of those with the logo in the background. And I do a cheesy Todd Pettengill promo and it shows all the participants and it's just a video that flows because as time goes on, I think we have about 24 out of the 30 locked for the Rumble, but I'm going to wait because, the Rumble is of course June 9th, right here on YouTube Live, 8:00 p.m. Eastern will be the HH Pod Rumble. 34 more guests. Of course, some of our friends may be back. I'm not sure if Eric, Tommy, Ashley, if they're going to have comedy shows that night or not, but they may very well be back. But I'm going to wait for some of our guests that are coming up to see if maybe we can add some of those to the Rumble. I know Maddie Collins said she was interested. Brad Newman said he was interested. So we're just going to see how everything pans out.
On that surprise Jay Bowler entry.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I mean, it's going to be like when Edge came back. The pop would be huge if we just get Bowler out of nowhere.
And actually, Niki is joining the room now, so we're going to go ahead and admit her in, and we're going to go ahead and get things rocking and rolling here. And of course, Niki. She's an actress, so we're going to talk to her a little bit about some of that kind of stuff. And of course, our regular basic shenanigans, the kind of stuff that you expect from the show. Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Hi, I'm great.
Hey, you're great. We always start a little bit early. That's one like weird trademark with this show is that we sit around and we get kind of bored and then we're like, well, screw it. Do you want to start early? And we're just like, all right. And we say it's the opposite of a pro wrestling show. Pro wrestling show always starts late. I know that from all the years I was in pro wrestling, and this show always starts early for some reason. So of course, everybody, Niki J. Borger joining us right here on Happy Hour Podcast. Of course, you're an actress. So, with being in movies, of course, you probably know with our show, you've talked to Jimmy, you've talked to Eileen. We have guests of every walk of life on the show. It's very a thought themed show. What with the movies, like, has there anything that stood out to you while you've been on set that just kind of jumped out to you as this is a weird fucking situation? Like, what exactly is happening right now? Like,
Oh my God, so many. Film sets are weird. That entire setup is weird in the first place. What you got to see is the perspective of a camera is so different than it would be in human life. So it starts out with whenever you have a two shot of two people, you have to be way closer together than you would be in real life. Always. Like if you're talking to somebody just casually, usually some 3-4 feet apart, more or less, right? On camera, you get like 1 foot max, because that still looks like a lot. So you're super close.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I brought this up before on the show, but I actually way back in the day, I think it was 2007, I was able to be on the set for the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. So they had an open casting call for independent wrestlers to come out and do that. And unfortunately, my scene was cut from the movie. And shit like that happened.
You'd have been the star of the show.
I seen Mickey Rourke fall to the floor and throw up on the floor 27 times.
Like
I was literally like literally, and like it was crazy to see that, because like me coming from the wrestling world,
what happened?
well, it was the kind of thing in the movie. He got done doing the ultra violent match, and he came into the back and he kind of like passed out and threw up on the floor, which they used Nella wafers and ginger ale to make like the throw up. And like they just kept on reshooting and and like me and the other wrestlers were just kind of sitting there like, well, fuck, we don't do like when we go out there, we're like, we need to figure this shit out when we're in the ring. So like,
at least he didn't puke in the ring like Chad.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, like guy like The Rock, I'm sure like the transition was easier because wrestling has a lot of acting, but I'm sure, from people who are used to calling it on the fly compared to remembering lines, like that's how we do this show. Like I don't have any notes, like we just get on and we talk. And I mean, that's just the way it works. But no, like, is there anything that stands out to you as like the weirdest thing that's kind of happened while you've been on set?
I think the weirdest thing that happened was I shot a short film, and they started out with the first scene that we shot was post sex. So I was wearing like a nude onesie thing.
Yeah.
And I had never met the other actor before. And I was like, here's the bed, just jump in.
Act like you just had sex. And it's just like, wait, like, hold on, like, I don't know. I think if someone were to walk up to me right now and go, act like you just had sex, I like at that point, my mind starts going through like 15 different scenarios of, well, what kind of sex did we have? What happened? Was it rough? Was it soft? Was it like, was there a lot of making? Like, I just can't get in the zone. Like, I need to know more context of what happened with this sex.
Some random girl.
Yeah. So that was the first conversation that we actually had. So I hopped in there. I was like, hi, I'm Niki. And
I'll be your post-sex buddy tonight. And Niki, how are you on? Do you have time to hang out for a while? Because I know sometimes we start early. Normally we go an hour with the guests, but if you want to hang out longer,
yeah, I got time. I'm good. This is Friday evening. I'm done for the week. So
awesome. So are you currently filming anything now?
I'm not right now. I'm actually in a pre-production phase for a show that we're filming later this year, which is called NFTs.
Okay.
And so yeah, so we have a lot of work to do there, and we're about to launch a film festival as well. So and I'm always shooting smaller stuff. I'm always on short films and all of this, but that's a few days, right? This is nothing, like no bigger commitment for the most part. So I have like 2 shorts in pre-production, 3 in post,
Okay.
and that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything that you've done so far that like kind of stands out to you as like one of your favorite things you've done so far? Like anybody that you worked with that like, you were like, oh man, it's kind of cool that I was able to work with this person.
It was actually in my last year of musical theater school back in Germany. I did the Cell Block Tango from Chicago, from the musical Chicago. It's basically 6 women inmates of a prison telling of how and why they murdered their husbands.
Okay.
And
You sounded kind of sexy. You said 6 women in prison. I was like, oh man, the post-sex scene is coming a little bit after this story concludes.
Of course you might make that.
So it's a really big number. It's really cool, really sexy, really strong in a way. But it's 7.5 minutes of straight singing and dancing in heels with a partner. So it's really high art, and I choreographed that and put that together with 18 people. And out of these 18 people, after we graduated, 4 went into stage entertainment lead roles. So they went into the biggest productions in Europe right after that.
Holy shit. Now you were in Germany. Like, how is it in Germany, like food wise? And of course, like beer, like, do you drink beer? Like, are you a beer drinker? Like, how is it up there, like drinking in Germany? Like, I would imagine that, the food and all that is so different.
You're about to, so please don't throw me out of the show, but I don't drink beer.
You're fine. No, that's fine. You're fine. Trust me, you don't have to drink, because when you come on the show, we'll do all the drinking for you. If you do not drink, yes, well, I will, because you can.
Had to go and
no, like, I mean, how was it being in Germany? Like the differences, like, is there anything you saw that was remotely different between America and Germany? Like, just right offhand, like as soon as you got there, and you're just like, wow, this is so different.
Well, there's a lot more similarities overall. The obvious different things are no guns in Germany.
Really?
Not a thing. So everything that follows that problem just isn't there.
Well, I would
right?
imagine in Germany they wouldn't have a lot of guns, knowing Germany's history. Like, I don't think that's a place that you want to have guns. They've been trying to make it up to ever since, like with all this stuff happened with the Ukraine. They're just kind of like, oh, we'll help you. Everybody's like, no, Germany, no, we don't need your help. Like, we know you, Germany.
Turned out last time.
That's very fair. Yeah.
No, but I mean that's the thing that's pretty that's unreal that there's no guns, like, over.
Yeah, I mean next to none. It's like there's sport shooting, but like the guns you can get for that, they're not assault weapons or anything like this. It's very rare that people have guns. The laws are super strict, so everything that follows this is not a thing. Like, I was here, Universal Studios, right?
Yeah.
I was at the metro station of Universal Studios a couple of months ago, and I was entering the bus, and a bullet hit the door frame behind me. Mm-hmm. And I heard it ricochet off, and the bus driver heard it as well, and we both recognized the sound instantly, and we were like, we're getting shot at, we need to get out of here.
Yeah, bus driver's like, ouch.
Yeah, exactly. That would not happen in Germany. That's
well, very unlikely. This now, that would definitely happen here in Baltimore. That happens every day here in Baltimore. And yeah, like if it was Baltimore, that would have been 15 bullets that would have hit the bus. Yeah. And the bus in Baltimore would have left everybody on the stop, and they would have just been like, peace out, bitch, I'm gone. Like, yeah, that's just a hot Tuesday in Baltimore. That's all that is.
Yeah, I see. The bus driver was cool. She was very protective of me and took good care, and there was nobody else around. So it was for me, it completely freaked me out, right? It took me a little bit to get over that.
Now, Niki, have you ever, and of course we always put like a little preview and synopsis of the show before guests come on, have you ever had a situation where you got an animal of some kind like stuck in your house or stuck in like part of a place where you were staying? Have you ever had to deal with the chaos of anything like that?
Not in Germany, I think. I remember when I lived in Ecuador, I had a couple of really big frogs that lived in my bathroom, and whenever I went to actually go to the bathroom, I was scared of one of them jumping at me. But
You're just in there and just like ribbit. You're just like, all right, but you know what? You probably didn't. There probably weren't a lot of flies in there because I'm sure that those frogs probably ate whatever flying insects or whatever insects would come into that place. So it's kind of like almost like having a cat. You have a cat, you don't have mice. You have a frog, you don't have bugs.
that was a trade-off for sure. Yeah.
Well, I know there was one time, of course, right here in Maryland. There's Ocean City, Maryland, and there was one time we stayed up there, and we're at a condo. And so we're feeding these gangster ass seagulls, like literally, like we're sitting there throwing fries off the balcony, and they're like swapping down, get them, and then flying back up. So then we started putting, like, we actually had like this KFC bucket that we wrote on seagull feed. So we would put like if we didn't finish all of our nuggets, we threw all this shit in this bucket for like these seagulls, and we would put it on the balcony, and the seagulls will fly down, snatch it, and then go back up. So this one seagull gets ballsy, and he grabs the fry, flies up, looks at something else, and then as another seagull comes in, he flies back down. They collide. The seagull falls onto the balcony, but the balcony, like, is a regular balcony. It goes all the way around. It has glass on the front. So the seagull, being a stupid, small-brained seagull, thinks that the glass is just air. So he's trying to fly, and he's hitting the glass. And then he turns around, and he starts hitting the glass door, and we're like, oh no, this seagull is going to want to come in here and like kill every single one of us. And like my wife's like, we got to get this seagull off the balcony. And I'm like, well, how the hell are we going to do that? And so we grab a broom and a dustpan. And so it's like one of those things where like you go out there, like you're ready to go to war. So like I have like a pillow in front of me with like the broom. So I'm going like this out there, and my wife has like the dustpan, and like we cornered the seagull. Like this seagull is just sitting there looking at us going, like just screaming at us. I'm like, this thing's gonna peck my eyeballs right out. So I sit there, and like at this point, my wife's just freaking out. Like she's just holding the dustpan. I'm like, God damn it. Like this is just me now. Like I'm out here with this killer beast. So I sit there and I get like the broom under the seagull. So I'm slowly lifting. And then my wife kind of like puts like the dustpan kind of over him so he doesn't try to fly away. So we get him up to where the ledge is, and I go like this with the broom. And so I go like that, and the seagull just falls, just literally doesn't open, and you just see him just falling like 10 floors down. And we're looking, and we're like, oh shit, like we're gonna kill the seagull. And so he goes, and then literally right before he hits the ground, he realizes where he is, and he throws his wings out and just takes off. And then like we see him hovering, looking at the balcony, waiting for more food, and we're like, you dumb shit, you just got stuck on the balcony. It took us 35 minutes to get you off. Like, you know, yeah. So like, have you ever like had any kind of experiences like that?
I don't think anybody's ever had an experience like that.
I have not, but seagulls are ballsy.
Yeah.
Like I lived in Hamburg, which is off a big river that leads into the Northern Sea. There's a ton of seagulls there, and the local traditional food is basically a bread bun with fish in between.
Okay.
And the seagulls know that. So whenever you eat something that looks somewhat remotely like a burger and you're just holding it up for a second, they'll come snatch it out of your hand.
Oh wow! Well, you do,
Ocean City,
yeah. Well, you do know that seagulls, especially, but it's a trademark. But seagulls never forget a face.
I got attacked by in Ocean City one time.
Oh yeah,
I was on the boardwalk and I had to blow off fries. The seagull literally came up, grabbed one of my fries, and started attacking me. So I punched it.
I feel like we gotta remake that movie, The Birds. Just seagulls.
The seagull, yeah. Like this is like my co-host Matt. He's not here tonight. Unfortunately, he had some family stuff to take care of. But like we talk about seagulls all the time on the show because we have all these crazy experiences with seagulls. But he said he looked up one day. Seagulls never forget a face. So if you feed a seagull, it's gonna remember you. So that's the thing. So if you have a bad experience, like I think that's why birds attack certain people all the time, because like that bird attacks you and then it remembers your face. And it's like, I remember this motherfucker's face. I'm attacking them again. Like, so it's crazy the way that works. But like I had just like how you had a seagull come down and take some fries. I had a seagull swoop down. I was eating a hot dog and it grabbed the hot dog and slurped it down like a spaghetti noodle. And I was just kind of like, and I'm sitting there like an old man waving the hot dog roll at the seagull, like, damn you.
Female seagull?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But no, so Niki, of course, we're right here on YouTube Live. We come live each and every week.
Just hanging out talking about seagulls.
Hang out, talk about whatever we end up talking about. And of course, we're in the live feed. And our good buddy Jason, who tunes in each and every week, he said he hopes you're having an awesome night. And he also said, what was your favorite movie to make?
Ooh, what was my favorite movie to make? There was, oh my God, which one? There's so many I liked, right? And I just done so many short films that it's hard to remember. I think the one that was the most fun to do was a horror short. It was called The Witching Tree.
Okay.
And I played this witch that was like supposed to be this like 100-year-old creature, and I had white lenses and special effects makeup, and it was all very physical, like a crumbling figure, almost like very contorted and all of that. So I spent a couple of days chasing and scaring people and crawling on the floor of on the forest ground in the dirt.
Did they film any place specific for that?
Now we filmed it here in Griffith Park, which in itself is like, Griffith Park is cool, but it can also be super scary. You know the stories of Griffith Park and everything that goes on there. So yeah, it was fun.
Where's Griffith Park exactly?
It's here. This is in Burbank. So you know the Hollywood sign, right?
Yeah.
The park next to that, if you look at the sign, the park to the right of that is Griffith Park.
Okay.
So that mountain range is in between Hollywood and Burbank, where I'm at, and Burbank is where like the studios are. Like Disney is just next to me, Nickelodeon, Warner Brothers, and Universal are down the street. So it's all super close by.
You're right in the middle of everything. Like that's cool.
I am.
Well,
it's really
I
cool.
Because Salem probably would have been a great place to film that, like Salem, Massachusetts. I went there for Halloween 2 years ago, and it was insane, like crazy. Like if you want to see craziness on Halloween, you go to Salem. There was at least 5,000 people in the middle of the town of Salem. Like
wow, I bet.
It was
so fun story. I'm actually from where I'm from. About an hour north of that is the original Frankenstein Castle, and like the real Frankenstein Castle. And they do a Halloween event every year, with like in the castle with about 100 live actors.
Really?
And they're allowed to touch you. So yeah,
now I know what I'm
scaring
for Halloween coming up. My wife is Seattle this year, and I'm gonna let her do Seattle this year for our anniversary in September. But like we kind of got in the thing of wanting to do destination Halloweens, which is cool. And we didn't do it last year. We might not be able to do it this year, but next year maybe I'll bring that up because that sounds badass. And I think she would like she's not as into the horror stuff as I am. Like you can probably tell, like as I move my arms, like I have like all kinds of horror stuff on my arms, but like I'm super huge into that. I mean, Christ, I have a Friday the 13th, a whole Friday the 13th thing on my entire back that I'm in the process of having.
Wow.
So but no, that just sounds badass. I think she would at least like the castle part of it, because she's into like the old castles and all that stuff.
It's really cool. My best friend works there, so whenever they have close friends visiting, they sent the picture around so all the actors knew who I was.
You'd be like, all right, look, this is the one right here. We need her crying before the end of the night. Like, let's do this.
It was so much fun. It's so much. I got thrown into a box with a creepy clown.
Really?
They took me onto the stunt stage, and another friend in an oar costume just jumped onto me, and I got kidnapped by scarecrows and
Next thing you know, you're just sitting there, you're just kind of like, why am I bleeding? And you look down, there's a knife in you, and you're just like, wait a minute, what is happening right now?
I thought this was supposed to be a work.
Yeah, it's really like the way they do it. It's creepy, but it's mostly fun. It's just this very sensual experience because you're so aware, like you're super awake and on the edge because of what's going on, right? And that's just, it's really fun. They make fun of it, right? It was only one moment at the very end. I was with two friends and we were doing this round walk one more time. It was just before they were going to close. And there was a point in time where we were suddenly surrounded by 30 monsters and could not see another normal human being anymore. All other attendants were gone. So it was just us with 30 monsters. And that was creepy. That felt like too real. I was just like, they were just closing in. And I was like, we need to get out of here.
We're going to peace out right now. We're going to do real quick. Of course, we have a bunch of news articles that we do. So we're not like,
what involve seagulls?
No, they do not involve seagulls. But like, we're not like a lot of other podcasts. We kind of run a little bit more like a radio show. So we're going to do a couple of weird news articles. I'm going to read them and then we're going to talk about them. So this first one is a woman who, all right, hold on. Okay. A woman who married a ragdoll claims that their son has been kidnapped and held hostage. So a woman says she married a ragdoll now claims that her son has been kidnapped and is being held hostage. She has now quit her job in a bid to find her child. A woman who fell in love with a homemade ragdoll has been left devastated after she claims their son was kidnapped. Marovine Roca Morales fell head over heels for a toy ragdoll named Marcelo, which was crafted and given to her by her mother after she complained about being single and not having anyone to dance with. Just 8 months after meeting for the first time, the couple tied a knot in a beautiful wedding ceremony in front of 250 people on December 18, 2021. The 37-year-old woman from Brazil is now claiming that their baby, Marcelinho, has been kidnapped and being held hostage by captors who are demanding 161, I think it's thousand. It looks like it's not an American money sign. It's kind of like an L with a line through it for the money for his release.
Wait a minute. I have questions here. Their baby. So she had a baby with the ragdoll.
Oh, it shows a picture of her with the baby and the ragdoll. Hold on. Let's
I still don't know where this baby came from.
So there we go. So
I
guess she birthed it. Where do babies come from? Well, she gave birth to that ragdoll baby.
Pregnant by the ragdoll?
So this is her right here. That's her husband, Marcelo, and that's Marcelina Ho, who I guess was kidnapped. And she looks like this looks like a very happy. Oh shit, she even put up like missing signs throughout Brazil, like for that. So her putting up posters of the missing ragdoll. And it says, Maravone, who is also a mother to Diego and Carol, was sent a video of the ragdoll baby sitting in a corner of an abandoned building earlier in the week. The concerned mom of three said it's all too much and I'm terrified. There's part of me that's worried that they will set him on fire. That's very specific. Hold on. She's concerned that they're going to set him on fire. Like, what about like ripping his like little doll arms off or, something like that? Like, how do we get to this point? Like, this is what makes me concerned about humanity is the fact that people are marrying ragdolls and procreating ragdolls. Ragdoll. This is why we shouldn't be doing stuff with robots, because we're going to end up with stuff like this.
Hey, now don't you deprive me of my sex robot. I will fight you.
That's the thing. Like even I think they said this week, Elon Musk was pretty much like, "Hey, look, we need to slow down with this AI stuff because it's getting weird." And then as soon as you have a regular full-size robot, someone's like, "I'm gonna marry this thing," and then all of a sudden, next thing you know,
weird. But remember, there was a girl that married a tree. There was a girl that married a bridge. You should do what you got to do. Right?
So, Niki, if someone came to you and was like, hey, we need you to play the part of this lady that, lost her rag doll, would you take that on? Would that be a role that you would consider doing, of playing this part? And how would you prep for that role? Like, would you go to a doll store and be like, hey, I need like 13 rag dolls. I have an experiment that I'm doing for a role. Like,
and you listen to Ragdoll by Aerosmith every
Yeah.
time you're doing it.
Wow, that's big questions right there. Honestly, I would like, if somebody told me that this was a thing and we're making this off a based true story,
Yeah.
like I first of all would find out if the woman that was in the situation is taken care of properly
yeah.
and that she's okay.
That-
Then I would find out if she consented to that story being told.
Yes. Unlike the families of the victims of Dahmer, they made that show, and everybody's like, "Wait a minute, we never consented to this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that happening. There's a lot of stories being told with people not consenting to it, and yeah.
Like, I mean, what do you do? I mean, do you buy a rag doll at that point? Like, I mean, like, if you need to play a role like that, like, do you sit it in your chair? You just start having conversations with it. Like, you like, I mean, because you have to get, like, I know from wrestling, you have to live the gimmick. Like, you have to become like that character you're going to be. And then it's just kind of like, okay, so, so the first movie will be you meeting the rag doll, falling madly in love, and then getting married. And then comes the second movie where the ragdoll child is born, and then it gets kidnapped, and then you have to go all Liam Neeson and Taken to get this ragdoll baby back.
I smell an Oscar.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, so, at some point, the scene of how the baby is made has to happen. And then the scene of the baby being born has to happen. And it's like, at that point, how do you, in a cinematic universe, create this scene of someone birthing a ragdoll baby,
Well,
Young Bertha Hand.
I'm not sure if I want to think of the specifics of that, but I mean, if this is to be a true story, then I would do it with a real human being that can actually interact with me and then project it onto the doll.
Based off of actual events. The story of Marcelo and Marcelejo, the ragdoll family. Niki, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. This is the kind of wild ride that people go on each and every week on the show. But no, I mean, it blows, like, I mean, obviously, I feel like that there might be some sort of mental health issue going on here.
No,
like,
not at all.
Because, and if there's not, like, I give her credit because she knew what she wanted.
Oh, yeah.
Like, she woke up and she's like, look, I love this rag doll. I want this, to be my husband. And she made it happen. Like, but I mean, did the family take care? Like, did the rag doll's family take care of the wedding? Like, how normally, like, the parents will pay for the wedding. So did, like, the rag doll parents pay for this whole shindig to happen right now? Like, you go in, she's sitting there, like, putting the spoon in his hand, making him, like, eat, like, pit beef at their wedding and, all that. Like, I don't know.
I mean,
like,
honestly, I would be rather concerned about the kids. Like, if she has 2 human kids and she decides to marry a rag doll and get a kid with like, how do they feel about this?
Part of me is when I read that.
Here's your new sister.
Yeah, they're the ones who abducted the ragdoll child and sent the video. But, like, when I read that, I was like, wait a minute. Are these real children? Or are these other ragdoll children that may be concerned for their ragdoll brother? Like, I don't know. Like, how does this work?
I think we're getting way too deep.
Yeah, like, dude, you know how things fall off the cliff very fast with this show. Like, I'm just kind of intrigued on how the bachelor party will work. Like, you take this thing to a strip club and then all of a sudden it's like,
she left the ragdoll outside.
Can you take it to a strip club? I mean,
like, what happens with that? Like, she leaves.
So many questions.
Yeah, he just, the ragdoll ends up cheating on her. That's what happens. Like, yeah,
can't trust the ragdoll.
Yeah. So, Niki, like, with when people approach you, like, with movie roles, is there certain roles that, like, you're more keen to, over others? Like, is there any time that someone came to you and threw a role at you and you were like, I'm absolutely not doing that. Like, I'm not playing
Yeah.
the wife slash mother of a rag doll. It's not happening. Like,
There's actually it's at least half of them actually. Like I get approached a lot for roles where I with people that are just starting out like I am in a way, right? And I mean, I've only been here a few years. Usually careers don't really take off until you're 10 years in,
Yeah.
right? And I often get approached with roles that I feel like are either I'm not a good fit for, or I really there's a part of me that doesn't approve of the story. Like I'm not a plus one
yeah,
type. I don't like it when a story is written around a guy and then you put a beautiful woman to his side that all she does is, what do we do next?
So I'm guessing you're out on my script of the male rag doll that falls madly in love with this beautiful actress, and then all of a sudden, damn it, that will not make it to Hollywood.
Well, you could, I mean, if you have a reason of why that would be, please convince me. I'm open to that, right? But if we're really just looking for somebody that makes the male part, like a weak woman that makes this man look strong, then I am not down usually. So because I think it's just unfair towards the story and the layers of people and how reality is in that sense, right? Like guys don't need a woman to look strong, and women don't need to be that plus one thing, right?
So. I mean, that's the thing. Like everything, like what you said, like everything's so jaded as it is with like television, movies, all that as it is. Like, and it's always kind of been that way. Like, I like movies every so often to have like a bit of realism, to them, and it's like you can relate to them a little bit, and like even with like lately, like people have been very like diversify movies and all that stuff, and it's like that's cool, but I feel like eventually it's like, okay, well, you're using it, just have a diversified movie. Don't just do it to make it that, and then people are tuning in for that. Like I always like diverse cast in anything that happens and all that. Like, I mean, I looked at it, I'm like, shit, you could do like a short film off of what happened with Jeremy Renner recently. Like that's just the whole thing right there with him being run over. Like, I mean, that dude actually true to life is an actual legit superhero, because I was watching the stuff. I saw the Diane Sawyer interview that they were doing with him or what, and I'm like, that dude played a superhero in a movie and then ended up saving his nephew being ran over and almost killed and surviving. I'm like, that's a total,
he lived again.
like, that's a total, like, thing right there that, it's just completely unbelievable.
I totally agree. And I think that life usually writes the best stories. There's so many great things or interesting things happening. And for me, movies or shows have to find that sweet spot of being authentic and entertaining. Right. And you usually just swivel somewhere in between the two, right? But if I wanted to have some authenticity, I want characters to have layers and depth and real reasons and all of that. It makes it a lot more interesting for me, and that's the kind of characters I want to play. So if I can't relate to a character, and it doesn't mean that whatever the person wrote is wrong or anything, it's just it doesn't fit with my perspective or with where I'm at. It's just not a match, right? That's when I don't do a role.
It's basically like, we would say in wrestling, like, your gimmick, like, what you're better at. It's the kind of thing that if you're a wrestler and you're a comedy wrestler, but then yet, you go to a different company and they want you to be kind of serious, it's just kind of like, okay, well, that's cool. Like, I know you're paying me to do this, but I've gotten over with the crowd this entire time doing this one thing. Like, so, it's good to be like that and know, what you want out of, your roles. And plus there's like millions of roles out there, that's the whole thing. Thing, going out there and, all that, you can just turn one down and then have another one tomorrow. And that's just the way it works.
Yeah. You gotta stay authentic to who you are, right? You never know which one of the projects goes up and how, like what you do, has to be good when you're doing it, because you have no way of estimating the impact like this is going to have. It can go nowhere and it can totally blow up. And I've experienced both.
Yeah.
So it's so important to do work that you're proud of only if you can.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. Like I was always like that with wrestling. You know, I was always proud of everything I ever did. Even with this podcast, I've always been proud of everything, you know, I ever did, because I mean, it's just the kind of thing of you need to have a passion for everything you do. So what we're going to do real quick, we're going to take a quick break, probably about 3-minute break, play like some videos, some commercials from some of our friends. And then when we come back, I'm going to get into our featured beer and we're going to get into some of our games. So we have a really extensive game segment that we play. So we're going to do that. So we're right here on YouTube Live. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a quick little break in case anybody needs to use the bathroom, get something to drink, anything like that. And we'll be right back here on YouTube Live in 1 minute.
Hi, I'm Leanna Lovings, and you're watching the Happy Hour podcast.
Hello, my name is Bubba Almany. I am a bodyguard who has been in the security industry for over a decade. My team and I offer a variety of security services that cover all aspects of security operations. We have secured some of the highest profile clients and largest events in the world. Should your situation require armed protection, we have the ability to carry in all 50 states and U.S. territories. Not only do we have the latest security equipment, we also have world-class training. We look forward to assisting all of your security needs by bringing you the finest and most dedicated security personnel available. From the Office of the President of the United States to local county and state dignitaries, my tactical dignitary protection officers are the tip of the spear in this extremely competitive industry. Let my highly trained staff protect the asset today. We can be contacted via the email and number below. Thank you.
But with a hard on.
I just need a little more money.
Yes, I told you my luck was going to change. All you do is tell Crystal what you want.
This is amazing.
Welcome to the Crystal House!
Hi.
Come on, bring it in.
It's like I'm in a fucking Stanley Kubrick movie.
No!
Hey, this is Tucker Lutz. You're watching the Happy Hour podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, we're right here on YouTube Live. We're here with Niki J. Borger. And of course, those are words from some of our friends. Of course, Niki, when we conclude, we'll get a plug from you as well, so we can play those during some of our weekly episodes. And what we're going to do is real quick, I'm going to get into our featured beer, which is a continuation from last week, which is Big Wave Golden Ale from Kona Brewing Company. So make sure you look out for that. It has like the little iguana guy right there on the top of the bottle. Golden ales are always amazing, you know, great little taste to them. always easy to go down. And one thing that I do like that stands out about these is that, of course, these are from Hawaii. So what they do is inside the caps, they put their terminology and what it means on the cap. So
Cool.
this one is mano, and it means shark. One from last week was stink eye, which is dirty look. So they shoot the stink eye. And then talk story means to chat. So that's a cool little thing they do on the caps, kind of like Snapple facts, but in Hawaiian, like but for beer.
Snapple facts with alcohol.
Yeah, Snapple facts with alcohol. So what we're going to do, we're going to get into our game segment. So we have a slew of games that we play with our guests, all of which are pretty wild. So we start off with Never Have I Ever. So we draw 3 random cards out of the box, and we're going to play it. And if you've done something, if you have a drink in front of you, doesn't matter what it is, take a drink or raise your hand. If you choose to give an explanation, you can. If not, no big deal. So the first one.
Hang on. So I drink when I have done it, or I drink if I haven't?
If you haven't.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So the first is Never Have I Ever joined the Mile High Club. Yep. All right. So that's and
I've actually never been on an airplane.
Well, it's funny because I brought this up before that, like, I'm a pretty large man as it is. So like I have a hard enough time using the bathroom.
Yeah, you were in an airplane bathroom fucking
like so I don't think I'd be able like I've seen things where like these OnlyFans models have like taken photos inside of an airplane and I'm like, how are you getting like how is this working? Like I can't even go in here and close the door behind me because even when I lose a ton of weight and get into amazing shape, I'm still crunched in the bathroom like this. So I don't understand how people do it. It must mainly be on private flights, I guess.
Yeah, if you got a private jet.
You know,
I mean, on private flights, that's a different thing, right?
some of these I didn't read. I just drew them out of the box randomly with the backspace.
Oh God.
So this next one is Never Have I Ever made someone else sniff my finger after putting it somewhere bad. So I have, in fact,
definitely in middle school at some point, I'm sure.
I don't know, like, is it considered somewhere bad? Like, I have done it in my belly button and then like shoved my finger in somebody's nose.
Is my butt somewhere bad? I don't consider
what? Yeah, what's considered
if I
bad?
stick in a corpse, like dead body.
I stick it in the ass of a corpse. So what's considered bad at that point? Like, I mean,
if I wrap my finger up in tape and put like some hydrochloric acid on it, and then sniff, that'd be bad.
Yeah, that would
not
be
that I would do that.
Niki's just
I mean, just to annoy somebody, right? Like if you just get dirty and you just you take it.
You smell this. Oh, why'd you do this? Like, Niki's probably sitting there thinking to herself, why did I ever sign up to do this? Like, what's happening right now? Like, but that's how all of our guests feel, just worn down, defeated, and broken after they come off of this show. Like, so and the last one is, and the funny part is most guests, when we're done, are like, we've never been on a show like this before, and I'm like, that's what I strive for. Like people go on so many podcasts, get asked the same 20 goddamn questions. I'm just kind of like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to talk. This is if we went out to have a few drinks or get something. This is how I am. Like, this is how I would do a happy hour with somebody. So that adapted on here. So the last one is Never Have I Ever worn a wireless sex toy out to dinner. I didn't even
very specific.
Oh, whoa! Oh,
no, I'm saying
that's very specific, but also like I'm sitting there. So like when I read that, my mind went through. I'm like, yeah, like how do you wear?
Just strap a dildo on your head like a rhino?
like a wireless sex toy? Like, is it like a strap on? Is it like, because there's so many different toys? So like now my mind is like kind of like the Price is Right wheel spinning right now of what it could possibly. Nikki, do you feel like telling this story? That's the thing that I'm asking now.
I can tell the story. It's I can tell the story. It might make some people a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm okay with it. So, you watch 50 Shades of Grey?
Yes.
So there are these two ball thingies that he gives her, and she puts it in there, right? So there's a more, let's call it a more spiritual version of that, which is a crystal shaped in the form of an egg the size of a bird's egg or something like this. And I have used those. There's there's reasons for that.
Just use one and you're like, you know what, let's go eat dinner, let's go get something to eat, let's go to Taco Bell right now, we're gonna go in here and get some tacos.
Well, I mean, okay, here's the thing about it, like it's easy to forget that it's there. It's not like it's not like you constantly feel it or anything. Like it's so what happened is I just forgot.
It's funny because like I read the card and it's like, never have I ever worn a sex toy at dinner, and then I just picture like all these people standing in a diner wearing strap-ons, like sword fighting strap-ons or whatever, and I'm just kind of like is this how this works? Like, but as Socrates said, like it's a very specific card.
I just love that you said yes.
I expected that to be a dead horse on like every aspect, but like, and that's the fun part about these games is you're like, you never know. Like normally a lot of these I end up, drinking for some of these, but these ones, like this was actually a dead round for me for the most part, except for the sniffing the finger one. But yeah, so that's the fun part. So what we're going to get into now, Niki.
What if you wore a sex toy while joining the Mile High Club and making them sniff your fingers simultaneously?
What if you wore a sex toy on here?
That's a party. That is a party. Right? Now, the next game, have you ever played Incoherent?
I have not, no.
Okay, so Incoherent is a trademark game on this program.
Challenging.
Of course, we talked a little bit about it before Niki came on. June 9th is our second annual HH Pod Rumble, in which we invite back 30 former guests to play this game in a Royal Rumble style elimination until there's one person left standing, and the person left standing, we send out a custom championship belt as our winner. Of course, last year, Johnny Goodluck won it. He will be back this year, along with the 9 other participants we have already announced. It's going to be 8:00 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube Live, the second annual HH Pod Rumble. So, Niki, what we're going to do, we're going to show a series of cards on the screen. It's going to be 3 cards, and they're going to be in drunken lingo. So what you need to do is sound out these cards and try to figure out what the fuck these cards say. So the first one is going to be this. So what do you think that says?
Shallow shots.
A good way is say it fast, out loud, or try to say it with a southern accent as well, and you'll kind of like, and there are hints if you need a hint.
I mean, the last word is probably shots, right? So
it is shots. The last word is shots.
Can I see it? I want to see it.
Shallow. Hey,
would you like one of the hints?
Yes, please.
A hint is a dessert drink.
A dessert drink.
Yes.
So it's a specific shot we're talking about here.
Yes. It's kind of like a kid snack before adults.
I think I might know it.
You know, in Germany, for old people, that would be Jägermeister. Oddly enough.
Mine would be. My go-to is Jaeger. I love Jaeger. I'm a big Jaeger guy.
Really?
Yeah. So, Niki, what do you think? Like, you see these at parties a lot. If not, you can always tap out, and then I think Socrates might know what this is.
I see the funny thing about all of this is I never drink. I almost never drink, and I know next to nothing about it. So I feel like I have to tap out.
All right. So, Psycho, what do you think it is?
Is it Jello shots?
It is Jello shots.
Jello shots. I've heard of those. it's this jelly stuff thingy,
Yes,
right?
yes, it's
Okay.
Jello that's inside of like a shot glass,
With what? Usually vodka.
and normally there's vodka in it, and you pretty much stir it up with your finger and then just do the shot. So
I could have guessed that. I
what
gave
do
up
you
too early.
think this one says?
Auto Dune. Am I even pronouncing that correctly? Okay. American, like how you write things and how you say them has nothing to do with each other for the
Oh
most
yeah,
part.
yeah. And I mean, especially with this, because this is deliberately like this is set up for if you were to say this if you were drunk. So
all right.
that's the whole thing. And one of the hints is T-Pain, the rapper T-Pain.
I don't even know. I don't know who that is.
You hear a lot of this in music. A lot of people do this in music now. It basically levels the playing field for wannabe artists.
It levels the playing field for wannabe artists. So it's like a platform that they can go to. I'm so confused right now.
Now on this one,
okay. Now, hang on. So you gave me the hints. T-Pain, which is a music artist.
Yep.
And it levels the playing field for wannabe artists. So it has to be. Huh?
A lot of people hate T-Pain for this because he used it a lot. And they say he pretty much doesn't have any real music skill because of it.
So I'm guessing he copied or made whatever you call that, like versions of it. But how did I get to that? Okay, Auto Dune.
Pretty much have it, but I don't think you're really like the cool part about this game is you'll say it where you don't realize you're saying it.
Auto Dune. I have no idea.
So close. No, tapping out.
I'm tapping out. Yeah.
Tapping out. All right, Psycho. What do you think it is?
I'm going to say it in the T-Pain voice. It's auto-tune.
Yes, it is auto-tune. He uses that to change his voice.
Auto-tune.
Music, yeah. So it is auto-tune. So Nikki, don't feel bad. There's either one or two things that happen with this game. People either do really, really good or they do really, really bad. So it's the way it works. So
I made my peace with that. That for one of the first games I had to play when I came to the US was Heads Up. Yeah. And I'm not a native speaker.
It's all right.
Stuff you don't know.
What do you think this one says?
Pierre Bell, hey. Pierre Bell, he, hey.
If I drink enough of these, I could potentially have one.
That's a beer belly.
Yes. There you go. All right. Yeah.
Thank you for giving me an easy one.
So you went 1 for 3, so that's not too bad. So some of the hints were too much bud, and then self-inflicted male pregnancy. So those were some of the hints.
I may or may not have had one of those.
So what we're going to do now is, of course, our Ode to Humanity segment. We end it with Cards Against Humanity because that's how I got the name Ode. Have you ever played Cards Against Humanity?
I've heard of it. I've never played it.
So you know what to expect out of the game. So it's a very wild game. You can end up with all kinds of different things. Actually, you know what? Before we do that, we actually introduced a new game last week, which I forgot about because we just introduced it. So we'll do this first. This is called Extreme Personal Questions. So there's 2 questions on this card, question A and question B. So you're going to choose A or B. Whichever one you don't get, you select myself or Socrates to answer the second question. So does your mind tell you A or tell you B? And you don't know the question until you choose A or B.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go with A.
A. All right. So A, besides gold, what else would you want to find at the end of a rainbow?
Diamonds.
Okay. That's a solid answer. solid answer.
No.
Opportunities.
Yeah, whatever works. I would like to find a genie, then that way I keep on getting more stuff from.
You only get 3 wishes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, you get a genie at the end of the rainbow, and then you get 3 good wishes. All right. So now, question B: who do you want to choose, myself or Socrates, to answer question B?
I want to choose Socrates. Is that his name?
Yes, Socrates.
Yes.
So, what night of your life would you least want to have recorded and shown to your mother?
Oh God. There's so many.
Nikki dodged a bullet with this one. She
I did.
right with A.
I'm not going to go into all the specifics, but let's just say it involved a house where certain substances are done and a very, very dirty young lady.
The look on Nikki's face.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
Now, of course, Socrates is with me. Socrates actually was his wrestling name, and he legally had to change to that. You don't see him on TV. He has an issue with his eyes. He's very sensitive to the light, so the computer screen kind of hurts his eyes. So whenever he guest hosts, fills in, he's never really seen. So I consider him our AI of the show because the light he's very sensitive to the light for the computer monitor. So
I
now
was on camera when Al Snow acknowledged.
yes, you were on camera when Al Snow acknowledged you.
Let's not forget that. Yeah.
So now we're going to end with Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, you know what? No, real quick.
Yeah.
I was going to say the other night that I wouldn't want recorded for her to see was when me and you tagged. I tried to do that Eddie Guerrero because that was embarrassing.
You missed the
That
guy
was
completely.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
I still say you
somebody recorded that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it's on video
Yeah.
somewhere.
Fortunately, I've never seen it.
Yeah.
But for the first question about the rainbow, I was going to say probably just like a hot stripper and some Chinese food. That's all I need.
That's a good
So
comment.
down to earth.
Is it like
So
a hot?
down to earth.
Is it like a hot stripper eating?
No, she's
Chinese
Chinese food for
food?
me. And then, she's my dessert.
Jesus Christ. All right. So we're going to now get into Cards Against Humanity. Now, normally the way it works is you have a blackface card and then you have a deck of cards in front of you.
Blackface card.
It's a blackface card. And normally you have a set of cards in front of you and you choose what you feel answers that card correctly. Now, we can't do that through this program. So what we do is we read off the face card and then we do it roulette style. So we're going to read off the face card and you get to pick a number 1 through 6 to randomly answer that card. If you don't like the answer, you get 2 rebuttals. So
Okay.
the first card is it's not delivery, it's blank. So 1 through 6, what do you think? 1 through 6 lucky number.
I'm going to go with 6.
6. All right. So number 6, it's not delivery, it's some kind of Birdman. So are you satisfied with some kind of Birdman or do you want to use a rebuttal?
I feel like this is a confusing quote. There's like, it's not delivery, it's some kind of Birdman. That sounds like mafia lingo.
Yeah.
Like this could be something
Or it's Coco
that maybe not, but we don't know for sure.
Yeah, because obviously it's the playoff. It's not delivery, it's DiGiorno. But this is the Cards Against Humanity version. So are you good with Birdman or do you want to use your first rebuttal?
Let's use one.
All right.
I'm going to go with, do I get another number?
Yes.
Or
Yep.
let's see number 2.
Number 2. As I said, this game is very, very over the top. And I was looking at this card. I'm like, because the cards from previous weeks go into new weeks. This card has lasted for 3 weeks. And I was like, somebody's going to unfortunately draw this. It's not delivery. It's the KKK. That's how wild this game is. This is a legit game. So, do you want to hold with that or do you want to rebuttal yet again?
Well, we want the worst quote possible ever, right? So I feel like this is pretty high up there.
So you're going to hold.
I'm holding.
All right,
Now,
all right.
granted,
So
if it is
the
K-
other four will
wait,
now
before-
go
before-
into
before-
next week.
Before you continue, if it is the KKK, I hope the Birdman's not there.
Yeah.
His old code don't want that.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna do another one. So this one is it's a pity that kids these days are all getting involved with blank. So 1 through 6.
5.
5. All right. So it's a pity that kids these days are all getting involved with smallpox blankets. So do you like
It's a
that?
pity back in the
Yeah.
day.
Do you like that, or do you want to do a rebuttal?
Let's do another.
right.
Let's do 1.
1. All right.
For Indians.
So it's a pity that kids these days are all getting involved with a big hole. That is the second one. So you have one more rebuttal. Do you want to stick with a big hole, or do you want to choose yet another rebuttal?
How do you feel about it? I feel like they were lame, both of them, a little
Yeah.
bit.
Like I feel
Yeah.
like the big hole, like we were talking about this earlier. Like I feel like we ended up in a black hole somewhere because the world just has went to shit. So I feel like we were in a
We're all in a big hole.
non-stop black hole.
Yeah.
You want to hold with that, or do you want to use your last rebuttal?
Let's look at number 3.
Number
Maybe we get
3.
something better.
All right. So
Something
number
bloody and mean.
All right. So number 3, which is the last and final card. So this is the hold card no matter what. So it's a pity that kids these days are all getting involved with having a penis.
There's a movement for that. That's oddly accurate, actually.
Yes. And now these last 3 are now going to go
We
into
got
that
one of
pile
them not be school
and make
shootings.
a full deck for next week.
There you
So
go.
the rest of those will go in the next week. Nikki, thank you for taking part in our game segment. Cards Against Humanity is wild. If you ever want to have a wild time
It's a
with
nice-
your friends, make sure you go out,
nice
pick
family
up Cards
friendly-
Against
nice
Humanity.
family
And God
friendly.
damn it, Cards Against Humanity and Incoherent sponsor us, damn it. We
Oh,
use this
man,
every
come on.
week with every guest that we have on this show. I just want to, you don't need to give me money. Just send me free cards so I can keep on playing this game on the damn show. So, Nikki, with everything that you're doing, is there anything in particular that you have coming up that you're like super, super jacked, super, super excited about?
Oh my God, I have so many things. But no, I'm super excited. We're right now we created a superhero franchise called Ascension.
Okay.
And it has these like it's individual movies or shows, but they're all interconnected and it's all based in mythology. So it's really, really cool characters, really cool stuff. And we're currently pitching 3 of them. And it's I can't, as always, I can't say anything else.
I've been sworn to secrecy. There's a creepy
It's
man
so
from the
hard.
mafia with a gun, and if I say anything,
Yeah. But we're this is something we're working on right now, and the stories are so freaking cool. Like one of them is called The Last Guardian. My writing partner is working on that, and it's
so will you get to be
it's
like a
about
full
this-
out like superhero and all that in there?
Yeah. I'm like in that. I'm actually I hope I'm not giving away too much, but I'm even cooler than a Valkyrie in that.
Oh,
Let me put it like
nice.
this.
If you get any
even-
trailers for anything, send them our way. We'll play them during ads and all that. Like, no,
Yeah.
I do that as a thank you to like a lot of guests. I'll send out T-shirts, play those. You know, I don't make anything off this, and I don't sit there and go, oh, I'll play this for the. No, I don't care. Like, so Nikki,
Awesome, thanks.
what I'm going to do real quick, we're going to do one more drunken news article, and then we're going to do one more quick little thing, and then we'll let you go ahead and get ready to get out of here. Is that cool?
Sounds great.
All right, cool. So
This is fun.
the next news article is man sues Buffalo Wild Wings because he says its boneless wings are actually chicken nuggets. Now, I feel bad that my regular co-host Matt isn't here because we talked about this and he knew this was coming up soon. And he's like, this guy actually kind of has a point. And it says a man filed a class action lawsuit against Buffalo Wild Wings, claiming that its boneless wings are actually made of chicken breast, are in closer composition to chicken nuggets than wings. It says Ayman Halem filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Illinois on Friday to challenge what he calls the false and deceptive marketing and advertising of Buffalo Wild Wings boneless wings, according to the court documents obtained by Insider. He has also filed at least 3 other class action lawsuits claiming that the natural label on Tom's Wicked Fresh mouthwash and the high in fiber label on the kind of granola on kind granola are inaccurate, and that Hefty shouldn't label his bags as recycling bags because they are not recyclable. The Hefty case was dismissed in August. Colgate, Kind, and Hefty didn't immediately return requests for comment on Sunday. So I can see those being dismissed, but I feel like he is onto something with the boneless wings thing, because I am a wing guy. I like to eat wings, but I also like boneless wings. So it's the kind of thing that I can understand the argument that they're nuggets because they look like nuggets. Like I could see if you label tenders as wings because they could kind of look like a wing, but I don't know, like regular, like I feel like a boneless wing should be like a wing that you ever see someone like break the bone out and like pull it out and then they just eat the chicken like that. I feel like a boneless wing should be that. Some worker at Buffalo Wild Wings has to rip that out, pull it out, and then send it all out to you. So like, I don't know, with that, like with boneless wings and regular wings, which do you prefer? Like which side would you lean towards if you went to B-dubs? Would it be okay, I'm going to do the Buffalo Wild Wings, boneless wings, or the regular wings?
For the record, I heard you out there. I'm sorry, I couldn't wait till I had to pee. But boneless wings are nuggets. Let's just be honest. I like boneless wings. Boneless wings are nuggets. Don't try to split hairs here. Are we going to split hairs? I'm with that guy. I'm on his side.
I think I'm kind of leaning with that too.
Right.
But you know, if you go like, do you do boneless or do you do regular wings?
I do both depending on who I'm with. I usually let the other people pick. But I do both. I don't really trust the boneless wings enough for it, like everything that should be out to actually be out there. So I usually eat the ones with the bone in, but I totally get it. Like I mean, how do they do that? How do they get the bone out? Like, well, I mean, there's somebody in the kitchen actually doing that.
Now, boneless is less work.
Yeah. Boneless is
like
less work.
Crabs, you got to suck make sure you get everything off there.
I mean,
if you're lazy, boneless is good.
Like that's me. And of course, we're from Maryland, so crabs are huge here in Maryland. I don't know if you've ever been to Maryland, but crabs are huge here in Maryland. And like it's people think that I'm weird because I hate picking crabs. Like my wife loves crabs, and I'll sit there and be like, just give me a couple of the claws. Like, because I don't want to disassemble my food. My big ass wants to eat my food. That's what I want to do. Like
it's a lot of work to do for such a small amount of meat.
Yeah, and I feel I
Yeah.
do boneless wings because I know I can consume those in like 3.5 seconds compared to like eating around and like picking around.
When you get a really big bone-in drumstick, those are pretty fucking big. You know what I'm saying? Like when it's got all the meat on the side. Like, come on, you know. We gotta acknowledge that.
What's your go-to flavor for wings? If you were to go somewhere, what's your go-to flavor?
I usually just barbecue. So something classic. I just really like it with ranch. I know I'm weird about that.
I'm a honey mustard guy.
Mine is, and I don't know if you have any out in California near you, but there's a place called Wingstop. So when you go to Wingstop, get the garlic parm wings. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. They are so good because you get it and the garlic's on you get the parm on top, but there's chunks of garlic pieces on top of it as well, and it is just chef's kiss. So what we're going to do real quick, we have one more segment, and it's a segment we've been doing for a little bit. It's called How Did We Get Here? So we're going to show a photo. Normally it is a photo of an awful variety. Sometimes it's a gruesome injury, sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. And then you're going to tell us how did we get here? How did this
Ooh, that's exciting.
happen?
Let's
So
see this.
this one this week, let me go ahead and get this ready. And this one, so how do you think we got here? How did we get here? So this is the one for this week.
I'm not.
And for anybody,
What is the thing that's
what's that?
sorry? What's the thing that's circled?
I don't know. I don't
is
know
that?
what that is. But for
Okay.
anybody listening at home, it's basically a matador, and it looks like he is being attacked by a bull, but also the side of his face is kind of beaten up. So, Nikki, how do you think he got himself in this situation?
So this is the story of Jose Angelo. And what you have to know is Jose Angelo, he really deeply, deeply, deeply loves his wife, but he also really, really deeply loves his neighbor. And he loved his neighbor a few times too often when his wife was actually at home. Now,
There you go.
so ever since then, she's been turning all his dishes, all his boneless wings, everything he's eating into hell, absolute hell. He can't eat at home anymore. All food is awful. He'd rather give it to the seagulls than actually eat
Everything
what
they're
is
Like
giving him.
everything. That's great.
But like he's very convinced that she is about to poison him, and he can't stand it. At the same time, he can't eat anywhere else because his neighbor found out and everybody's talking about it and everybody knows what the thing is, and it's the women cooking, right? So like no food is safe anymore. So Jose Angelo right now, he's feeling really, really weak because he screwed it up and it's taken a toll on his body. So this show has been coming up for a while. There's no way he was gonna cancel his show as a God, how do you call them, as a matador, right?
Yes.
And he really had to do it, but from the moment he got into the ring, it was clear that the bull had the upper hand here. So eventually he just had to give in and accept his fate, that he really screwed it up, and this is karma paying him back.
And
That was a pretty good detailed
that's a
description.
pretty good, that's the best description we've ever gotten
Yeah.
from one of these. And this is also one of the most tame photos because we've
I
had
was
some
gonna say-
awful photos
gonna
where how
say-
did we get here?
It looks like Tito Santana fell on hard
Well,
times. He
see,
hasn't been
the
working
thing
on the
is-
indies lately.
I'm gonna add to Nikki's story that his wife was also a bull. That bull got angry.
I forgot about that.
At least she wasn't
Yeah.
a rag doll.
Yeah, and that's another reason why he couldn't go eat anywhere, because anytime the bull saw red, it would destroy the restaurant. I feel like this is what happens when you steal a bull's ragdoll child and the bull tracks you down like Liam Neeson
And you know
then makes you pay.
what I think that what's going through that guy's head right now? You know what he's thinking?
The bull's horn.
thinking-
That's what's going
He's
through his
thinking,
head.
he's thinking this is some bullshit.
Yeah. Oh man. So Nikki, we're gonna let you get ready to get out of here. So what all do you have coming up, and where can everybody find you if they want to get a hold of you? We always advise our guests, don't give out your address. There's a lot of
No.
stick people out there. So
Oh my God, yeah, just having one of those right now. Super creepy. Now, okay, so the most interesting thing that's going to happen soon is I am cast in an upcoming streaming series called NFTs.
okay.
Tease as in teasing. I'm gonna play the part of Kelly Schwartz, who
Okay.
is a college graduate, and she and her friends have been trying to start this NFT business, but it's not going well, and they get one last chance to cooperate with these content creators.
Nice.
And they do, not knowing what they're about to get into. So this is a streaming series. This will be the first series produced by a new production company called Legacy Inspired Films. You'll find them on Google. They have a neat little webpage up already. And Legacy Inspired Films is very new in the sense that there will be the ability, like the possibility for people to participate in the production and decisions to just get more involved in the film industry and to find out more how this is working and actually become a part of that. So I think the concept is absolutely amazing. I'm super, super excited about it. So yeah, there's lots more going into it. It's in this entire NFT world in a sense, which to me is, in a way, if done well, it's really exciting as well. And yeah, check it out.
Awesome. And for anybody watching at home or listening at home, where can they find you? Like we're on social media. If they want to reach out to you, they want to send you a picture of a bull just mauling a matador and want like a great explanation of what's happening to them. Where can they find you?
All my socials are at Niki J Borger. So that's Nikij Borger. So I'm usually on Facebook and Instagram mostly, and I have a YouTube channel. There's not a whole lot on there, but feel free to reach out. I love connecting with people. I think this is a lot of fun, and this was an amazing podcast. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And Niki, once we're done, would you be able to hang out for 1 second and do a plug for us?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. So we will be back here on YouTube Live next weekend. And we're so flooded with guests every so often, we have to do a double shot week. Next week is going to be a double shot week. We're going to be back next Saturday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube Live. Featured guest is Cassidy Lux. And then we will be back again on Monday, which is April 10th at 7:30 p.m. Featured guests are Daisy Bean and Melanie Mellons. They will both be joining us at the same time. Of course, both of those episodes are going to be Easter themed. You guys know we always do fun little, of course, last year for Easter, we talked about the Bunny Man, who was this crazy character that went around back in the 80s and chased off, people who would go in their cars and have sex. And he was a crazy bunny man. Yes. And I actually wrestled the Easter Bunny. So I'm sure I will get into my feud with the Easter Bunny yet again over the years of. Real quick synopsis. I was so excited to see the Easter Bunny when I was a kid. I was 4, got my head stuck in a picket fence. My mom beat my ass in front of the Easter Bunny as I made eye contact with the Easter Bunny. Never went to see the Easter Bunny ever again. Later on in life, I ended up wrestling the Easter Bunny, and it was my vengeance. And he hit me in the head with a frozen, gigantic Hershey's chocolate bar, which shattered over my skull. And he beat me, and I have never gotten my redemption back from the Easter Bunny. So the feud and the hatred still goes on.
Not yet. Not yet. There will be a day.
Yes.
There will be a day for sure.
Yes. One day I walk outside and there's a dead rabbit. I'm like, finally, it'll be on the Easter. And I'm like, finally, my vengeance has been. But no, we're going to go ahead. We're going to wrap up here on YouTube Live. Real quick, let me just check the streaming feed, see if there's any questions. Of course, our buddy Jason, he said, Niki, you should come back. You're awesome. And he said he used to work at B-Dubs. Oh, okay. So that's cool. That's cool. So Jason used to work at B-Dubs. And so that's going to conclude this episode of the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, Matt may be back next week. He has a couple of things going on, family emergency stuff. So if not, it'll be Socrates, it'll be myself, or it'll be Eric Woodworth or Tommy Sambazo or whoever else. One thing that's always guaranteed with this show is me, because no one else knows how to do anything else unless I'm here. So Niki, once again, thank you for joining us on our wild train wreck what the hell is going on podcast, and we will see everybody next week right here on YouTube Live. All right, so let me just go ahead